Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of everybody's favorite wackiest podcast, Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem in the room, and I'm here with my always amazing panel. The one, the only, the man who brings the common back to sense. Titan Drago is here.
What's up, everyone? Forgive me, I'm just waking up, so I'm still getting the juices flowing, everyone. But you know what? While we get this show going. My G Fuel flavor of the week is it's a flavor called clickbait. It's actually pretty good. It tastes pretty good. The name I hate, but we all hate a little clickbait every now and then.
Is that like a real flavor?
It is.
That's fucking hilarious.
Why don't you send a case to some famous YouTubers out there?
You know what?
Apparently they've been drinking it for years.
It's funny you say that because I tried to send like a tub, it comes in tubs usually. Mm-hmm. Tried to send a tub to freaking my buddy up there in Canada, and my God, the post is just twice as much as the damn thing. I'm like, man, I ain't paying for this to send this damn thing to you, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
Come down and get it.
Sending shit to Canada is crazy. Oh, indeed.
They must write it in there on a dog sled or something still, man. What the hell?
That's right. And up next, we've got the man of many names. He is loud. He is proud. Yes, he can bring the house down. It's the middle-aged game guy.
Yes, well, good evening, Noof. Good evening, Titan Chat. You guys are going to be awesome tonight. I'm sure of it. And you know what? We got some great topics. We got a great show lined up for you, so let's get right into it. And you know what? No G Fuel on this end. I just live pure off of adrenaline. So let's get this show going.
No G Fuel for me, but a big tool I am. Yes. What's going on, my brother? Ryan Galloway is in the house. He says, hey, Noof, Mag, and Drago. And we got our first super chat coming in from the one and only the man who usually drops the first coin, Doggy Dog, for $20.99. Good evening, Noof, panel, and chat. Well, good evening to you, Doggy Dog. Thanks for being here. Fantastic chat as always. Oh, look, one of our favorites is in the chat, Assassin Lupa. What's going on, Lupa?
What's up, Lupa?
Haven't spoken a while, so good to see you here. We'll have to hang out and play a game here soon. Monster 530, Crispy Rambo is in the house. We got our Rob, Keeper Grant, Spider-Man 356, Timothy Dixon, Jesse Darby, Tony Grasso, Blue Moon FC, Casket Repair, Pure Flag Monkey. Who else we got going on? Cerebral Paul is in the house. Tony Baloney Muscle. Any relation there?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, there's a guy called Tony Baloney Muscle. That's a character in our chat.
That is fantastic.
I was going to ask you that off the show, but it sounds like you've got your own bouncer or your own squad in here.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
Draven Arrow is here. What's going on, Draven Arrow? Speaking of Draven Arrow, he is going to be donating us a, a 2-year code for Dolby Atmos for your Xbox headsets and stuff, and we're going to do a draw for that next week, so we're going to put everybody into that draw tonight. So before we get into the topics, I will just put that out there. Yes, next week we're going to be doing a draw for 6 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, courtesy of our good friend Crazy Great Dude, who's been kind enough to give us some codes. So we're going to do that draw next week. So if you're in the chat tonight, I'm going to be writing your names down on a list, and next week we will enter you into the draw. Simple as that. If you're not in the chat and you haven't replied or said anything, then unfortunately you can't be in the chat, because we're going to need a list of all these fantastic names. So hopefully I won't miss any. Look at that Crazy Greek Dude there. There you go. He's in the house right now. So look at that stuff. All right. But anyway, what have you guys been up to? Let's kind of catch up with the panel here. Titan, what have you been playing? And please don't say you've been up to your balls in Smite again.
I have. I've been screwed more lately in that game, man. I just can't get good teammates, and I just keep going. I have the number one Odin in the world, and I'm ranked terribly right now. It's just
good.
Maddening. Oh, it's so maddening. But other than that, I've been playing this new game I got called Green Hell. I guess it's like a survival game that kind of takes it to the next level, man. You got to battle sanity. You got to there's all kinds of stuff. It's a very hard survival game. If you guys like those type of games, I would recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. How about you, Mag? What have you been able to play?
Well, I'm still neck deep in AC Valhalla, obviously. Yeah, it's going to be a while. I'm 70 hours in, and I think I'm maybe halfway through the story, but you know how those games go. So I'm in the middle of that, and I started I'm about quarter way through of Little Nightmares 2 properly. My goodness, that game is so good, so disturbing. The imagery, the ideas, that like the thoughts, whatever I could gather from the storyline, absolutely unbelievable game. Just like the first one, just totally potent and incredible. So if anybody wants you want to play like a AA game or whatever, or you can't really call it indie because it's Bandai Namco, but man, is it ever incredible. So doing that, and I also took the plunge. I didn't wait for Game Pass because I'm a fucking fraud. I bought It Takes Two, so I'm now playing that. Yes, I bought it, and I'm playing it with Chef Trouble, my wife, right now. Well, not right now, but I mean, we played yesterday like 3 levels, and man, that game is fucking hilarious. It's so much fun.
My wife was saying that's with the old people, right?
It's the one with the husband and wife couple.
Yeah.
My
and
wife
was telling me to get that. We almost got that just.
That's amazing, man.
It's incredible. The thing is, though, some of the platforming is kind of difficult, and like when you get to like a boss, you got to kind of figure out what's going on because you're like, oh, what the fuck is this now? It's like a toolbox shooting nails at you and stuff. And then after like a couple of deaths, you're like, oh, now I know what to do. So then you figure out the pattern, kind of like a Dark Souls thing. You figure out the pattern, and then all of a sudden it becomes incredibly easy once you understand what to do. But man, I got to tell you though, this game is supposed to be about a couple getting divorced, getting back together. Let me tell you something. The number of times that my wife was dying in some sections, fucking divorce was incoming. Let me tell you, because I was like, honey, we're getting a divorce if you don't make that jump. But yeah, man, it's hilarious. It's a lot of fun, and that's what I've been up to. I'm trying to bury those 3 games, including Valhalla, before the end of the month, before the end of July, because we all know what's coming. You know, the Avalanche starts. We're going to get that Microsoft's Flight Simulator, and then we got the Ascent, which I'd like to play. I'm going to be playing with the Primetime Gaming crew, but I'd like to, be thrown around with all kinds of other people in the community and other people in the podcast game. Let's get out there and start playing these games multiplayer, man. So it should be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Nice. Well, great selection, and still my game of the year up to this point, and it's been that one. Like I'd take that even over Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is good, but I just think that the level design, the amount of stuff that you can do in that game, It Takes Two, and the co-op nature and the fun is just. I haven't really played anything like it. It was just completely out of left field and a fantastic game. So I highly recommend It Takes Two, guys. Pick it up. It's not all that expensive either. So even if you don't
on sale right now,
yeah. It's on sale. So there you go. So yeah, but let's get right down into it. And before we get right into that part of the show, just want to have a little crack at somebody who was taking cracks at me this morning. Obviously, some people don't know about the No Chills New deal, but I get somebody that follows me and I follow that person back and they say something about their breasts. And I said, well, we won't know if you don't show. And then there's some asshat comes at me basically, kind of calling me shit and everything, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea who I am, do you? Like, you don't know that's who I am. That's my shtick. That's the kind of humor that I have, right? He's calling me out, so I kind of like give him the middle finger on the fucking thing and everything. Is just So
was this on Twitter or on Xbox Live?
That was on Twitter.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It's like, I'm no sneaker man, so fuck off. You know what I mean? So yeah, quite simple. Don't come at me, bitch. I'll give you the address to my house. I'll kick some teeth down your throat and then make you shit them out.
And then run them over with your new bike.
Absolutely. Put some fucking put some rubber on those lips. There you go.
You ever seen Noof's hands, man? I swear to God, they're like bricks on sticks, man. His hands.
There you go.
Your hands look like the end of a club or something, man.
Where the hell did you see my hands?
I saw lots of pictures.
Those hand job videos he was posting on Pornhub. Hammer hands at it again.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that because when I was doing radio one time, we had this. There was this older lady and her daughter came into the studio, and they were like doing this promotion for some sort of like it was like a like a singles dating club for like older people kind of deal.
Yeah.
And just as they're getting ready to leave the studio, like this mom, and she, you know, like the old MILF or what you want to call her, and she kind of grabs my hand and she looks at my hands and she goes, "Ooh, you know, you can tell a lot about a man by his hands." She goes, "Look at his hands; they're nice and smooth." And she goes, "Look at the size of those fingers. Imagine what you can do with those."
Wow.
I was like, "What?" Shit, too funny, man, too funny. But let's get right into the topics, everybody. Glad everybody could be here in the chat. You guys are the real MVPs, and yes, I've been taking down all those names. Oh, look, your favorites in the chat there, the Meg.
No way. I see him. It's Joe Dunmore. He's here. He's live and he's ready to go.
Yes, he back for the dead is here. Hey, Mike Mullis, original Next Level Gaming's in the house.
Hey, Mike Mullis.
Yeah, baby.
Love that guy, man. By the way, your last show was excellent. The last two shows were excellent. I absolutely adored every second of them.
Did you guys see Doggy Dog's new fucking like machine he got, man? He explained it a little bit to me, but I don't know what it does, Doggy. You got to let me know what that thing does. He told me the name of the machine, but man, thing looks beastly. It looks like it can churn out some metal or whatever you got.
I don't even know what it is, but it looks impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Caper Grant's in the house. Good brother Caper. Eternal Shaddai is here, man. We got a crew up in here tonight. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate you being here. Joe Dunmore, right on. Let's get into the first couple of topics of the evening, and let's just talk about real simply, like the whole fiddly diddly
I just saw that too. Who is this guy?
I don't know, but man, I'm still dying over that last week.
I bet you it's Papa Woody again.
Fuck, that was funny, man. That was great last week. Honest to God, Tony B has some henchmen going on. Yes, he does.
Oh my God.
But this is like Game Pass. I mean, obviously, regardless of whether I have it or not, guys, we know that Game Pass right now is one of the pinnacle flagships of the Xbox brand. It's pretty much everywhere. You know, it's hard to even talk about games or the Xbox console and ecosystem anymore without bringing up Game Pass and what it's meant to gamers, the value that it presents, and the onslaught of amazing games that are there on day one. So, like I said, if you're on a budget or you're just looking to, you know, for a fantastic service, courtesy of Microsoft and Xbox, and this is the one to get right now. I think you can even get 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $1. Like, how can you not want to jump in on that, right? Everybody's just like, "Noof, why don't you?" But anyway, that's a story for another day. But, you know, it is a fantastic value. And there's so many good games coming up. People are playing Dungeons and Dragons right now on that particular service. So you cannot go wrong. But why is there so much hate? Who is the hate coming from? I've seen, you know, the odd article there and from the media. And of course, there's a select few fanboys out there that constantly crap on this service constantly. They always have some sort of narrative. Why is it they just cannot accept that Game Pass is the future? It's the future of Xbox. It's an amazing service. Why is that, guys? Who can explain it? What you think is going on here, and why is there still so much animosity towards this?
Jealousy.
Anybody want to take the floor?
Jealousy.
You started, Max. You go for it.
Jealousy. I'm going to say it over and over. It's what it is that, you know, they backed one horse, and that's fine. You know, everybody's got their preference. I got my preference. You got your preference. Like, that's like, that's another thing, by the way. I didn't want to get into like a whole side thing here, but, you know, people would be like, "Oh, I'm neutral." You're full of shit. Because if you're a baseball fan, are you neutral to every team, or do you have a favorite team, but you enjoy watching the other teams? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. You know that everybody at the end of the day, whether you admit it or not, you have a preferred platform or whatever. And that's fine. Anyway, the point is that if let's say you back the horse, you got your PS5. Okay, fine, great. No problem with that. I got a PS5. Noof's got a PS5. Okay, I'm sure some people in the chat got a PS5. Great, wonderful. We're going to get to enjoy all those games that they come out with over this generation. However, there are people out there who back that one horse, and then they don't want to, you know, there's this culture that was built in 2013 about hating on Xbox, whatever. And that's because the 360 generation was incredibly successful, right? And so when you're on top, or at least perceived to be on top, even though like sales did not reflect that, because let's face it, the Wii was on top. But if you were going to look at those two between the 360 and PS3, who had the popular vote, so to speak, was the 360. So they bungled up their, reveal of the Xbox One. Blah 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 blah. We already know that. So there was a culture of hate around Xbox. No matter what, you shit on Xbox, it was a good thing. You shit on Xbox, it was a good thing. You put articles shitting on Xbox, they got more clicks. Blah 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 blah. So the thing is, now you fast forward to what's going on now. So these guys are continuously backing that PlayStation horse. Fine. Again, fine. I have a lot of people who are only Sony players, and they're really, really nice people. Okay. They're not assholes. I actually have a growing list now because I've been telling people, I'm like, hey, guys, I'm on the PlayStation too. Eh? So, like, if anybody wants to add me as friends, everybody who's added me as a friend has been super fucking nice. Okay, they've been super nice and whatever. These other asshats, these toxic idiots, that are out there and whatever, they're just looking for attention. They're trolls, whatever, blah, blah. So the thing is, at the end of the day, when it comes to this kind of thing, is that they're paying full price for these games, and they're seeing this big parade going on across the street, and they're not invited. And the thing is, it's that, you know what? I'm going to take that back. They're not that they're not invited. They are invited. They're just going to be a sourpuss in the corner because they want everything the way they got it on their side, but it doesn't work that way. Okay, so like, for example, when you've got like MLB The Show was $70 for them, 105 in Canada, and then everybody on Xbox is getting it for free. And I call it free because I was already paying for the service playing other games. When you add another game in there, I'm not paying extra for that game. Okay, that's just a fixed cost. So to me, that's free. So the thing is, and everything coming up is free because I don't have to pay for Game Pass till 2023. Okay, so that's what's happening, and they're getting bitter and they're getting pissed off about it because from now until my goodness, like December, how many games, or even next year? Okay, in the next 18 months, we're getting 27 games in that service. That does not include other third-party games. That's mostly first-party games we're talking about here. Okay, and deals that they got. Who knows what else is going to be coming up over the year? And indie titles, AA titles, other AAA titles coming in there, whatever. Right? Those are the ones that they just announced. We're getting that all essentially for free. Okay, and they're not. And what ends up happening is there's frustration, there's anger. They want Sony to do it. Sony's not going to do it. Okay, that's not their business model. That's not the way they operate. And I've actually noticed more and more and more that PlayStation is starting to model their business like Nintendo, and they're keeping it that way. And I have a feeling it's the two Japanese companies are following their own culture of business. That's fine, right? But the Americans, Microsoft, are going, fuck it, we're going the Spotify route, and you can't say it's not the future because you're full of shit, or else anybody talking shit about Game Pass is another thing. Did you ever rent a movie at Blockbuster Video? If your answer is yes, then you're a fucking fraud. If you have Netflix, if you have Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Crave, Spotify to listen to music, if you have any of those things and you're shitting on Game Pass, you're a fucking fraud. So just shut the fuck up and just either be happy for people who are doing it, or guess what? Get into the ecosystem yourself. And like I've said a million times before, they removed the paywall. Okay, they removed the paywall. They now have the Xbox Series X server blades in the cloud now. Okay, so now you're going to get to play these games like real next-gen games on the cloud without having to buy a console. So either get into it, shut up, enjoy the games like everybody else, and be part of a positive gaming community, or get the fuck out. That's it.
There you go. Mag just summed it all up, didn't he?
Sorry, I was kind of angry about
it. No, it is. I agree with you. Like, it's just kind of frustrating because this is one of those things that, like, where is the con? Like, where is the con from this? There's lots of pros here, but where is the con? Like,
there is no con.
We know the reason I don't do it, but it's got nothing to do with the service itself or the games on it. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that, brother. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said something very interesting there. Like, you're not in that you're not in the Game Pass ecosystem.
No,
because you have the way you have your preferences, and that's fine. And anybody who has like half a brain will respect that. The other thing is, you're not shitting on Game Pass because you don't have it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what a normal, level-headed gamer, positive gamer in the community should be doing. If you don't have it, say, hey, man, that's great that you guys got that. Wonderful. I'm glad they're having a good time. I saw a meme about that where it showed a guy playing Game Pass, and then this like, they have that toxic Sony guy with the blue hat and the tears, and he goes, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm playing Game Pass. And then all of a sudden the guy yells at him, he goes, stop having fun! Right? And that's how I feel about it. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's all I got to say. It just flabbergasts me. Like, so I don't know. And it keeps getting better all the time. I was just having this conversation, I think, on the weekend for Good Morning Xbox, where, people keep asking me now, like, there's kind of like the running joke. People are running bets, like when's Noof going to get Game Pass, all that sort of stuff, right? And it's kind of become a joke now. Like, what is it going to take? And I was saying to the Good Morning Xbox crew, I said this weekend, I said, you know what it's going to take? More debts. Because honestly, like now having a bike and having a payment and an insurance and all the rest of it, I'm noticing my disposable income is quickly going downhill, and at some point in time, Game Pass is going to get more and more attractive to me when I watch all you guys playing these games and I look over and go, well, I'd love to play that game with Titan, or I'd love to play this game with Mag, but guess what? I can't, because I got to find like another 70 or $80 to go drop on these things. That's, I think, when it's really going to set in for me. I don't think,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, you know what? You should get it. Get it in like October. And then you've got October, November, December for $1, assuming that you could still get it for $1 at that point. And you'll be able to play Halo. You'll be able to play Psychonauts 2, Flight Simulator, The Ascent, Back 4 Blood, maybe Dying Light. We still don't know yet. And I can't even think of one else. Oh, and Forza Horizon 5 and all those games. You can have community game nights and it'll cost you nothing. So I mean, if you got extra bills to pay now, you got like you were saying, you got to pay for the bike, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm sure you got to pay either rent or mortgage or whatever you got going on, bills. Well, you'll be able to play like 20 games for $1. So like, why wouldn't you, right? But hey, that's entirely up to you. But reality does come knocking at some point, right? So,
amen to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's let Titan have his chat on this.
Yeah, I think a lot of the hate is coming from what I like to refer to them as the brain dead. Like I imagine these people as Trump lovers. It's and Mag is right. It is jealousy that it makes them look. Jealousy is what makes them look so immature and ridiculous at times. Like these are the people that actually need help, man. They have lived their lifestyles since 2013, just hating Xbox for whatever reason. Everyone's got their different reasons, whether they just hate Xbox or they hate Game Pass or they hate the whole side or they hate Microsoft in general. So we got all different types of things that they could be hating about, right? Mm-hmm. And like these are the people that help. The thing is, for Noof and I, and more so Noof than me, like we've been doing this, long enough to see the landscape of the community members. Mm-hmm. Like we've seen it all. We've seen like people come and go and shift, and we've seen the light and like the dark side of everybody in the community, right? And we know the type of people they are. Like, I'm sorry if I'm being so vague, but I don't think it's too hard to like insert one of, 20 names that qualify as to who I'm referring to, right? The thing is Microsoft started to finally act like their favorite company, and they hate it. Like Microsoft is doing what many of them have wanted since 2013, right? So since the Xbox One came out, like they felt like those 5 years, like Xbox did them wrong or something, and when there's just the Xbox company, they don't know who most of you are. People got too big of heads on their shoulders. They don't give a damn about you. And then you go and switch teams and you think PlayStation gives a damn about you. That's the thing I don't get when people, feel like Xbox or Microsoft has fucking hurt their feelings because the company doesn't know who the fuck they are. They don't care about their opinions. They care about making smart business decisions. Mm-hmm. And that's what Microsoft has done since November 7th, 2017, the release of the Scorpio edition, the Xbox One X. They took the power narrative there. They haven't given it up since. Mm-hmm. They told everyone, we are not giving up the power narrative. How long before the Xbox Series consoles came out did we hear Microsoft and Phil Spencer say they're not going to give up the power narrative? You guys remember that? We talked a lot about that and whether, who would do what, this and that about the next gen consoles. And now they're here. Now that everyone's had their hands on them for, half of a year, whatever it is now. And I got to tell you, I've looked with open eyes, right? Because I may be an Xbox fan. That's just my preference, right? I don't hate on people that like PlayStation. Not one time has someone said, I like PlayStation. And I started calling them names or something or insulting them. That's ridiculous, man. Yeah. Like there's a line to everything, and a lot of people just don't see those lines, or they don't realize they're crossing it when they do it.
Titan's saying is Titan can respect a smart PlayStation fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, and there's tons of them out there. It's just when you let your feelings get hurt by my words, I don't know why and then you get mad. Like that's not how. Like, that's not even how anyone should be communicating. If I say something that hurts your feelings or if you get pissed off about it, like these people want to fire back, right? They want to fire back at everyone because we're having a really great time. You know how awesome it's been for me, since 2017, it's been so great. Xbox, I cannot complain at all about what Xbox has done. And Phil Spencer, that motherfucker, he's just, man, I cannot believe anyone that doesn't have respect for the dude. Never in any other console generations have two SKUs come out. A fucking, the top of the line, and then we got the Series S as well, which is a legitimate. It's like it's a strong box in and of itself, but it's still very affordable. I don't know how they got it down to $300, but they did. But these are the things.
Gotham guys coming.
Gotham guy. Class.
What's up?
Gotham guy.
I mean, yeah.
Oh shit. That one's comment of the night so far. Oh shit.
Yeah, you're right. You guys got to step it up. The Gotham guy. I don't remember seeing him in the chat much.
He actually went to E3 with Boom a couple years ago.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, he was. He actually had an extra ticket for the event, and he took Boom with him. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yes, it is. It is awesome.
By the way, shout out to the doctor. He said that he goes, "Can you imagine having a Game Pass for Oculus?" He goes, "That'd be incredible." Yes, fuck yes.
Yes, right now that's one of the problems with Oculus outside of the battery life. Is if you notice, like a lot of the deals on the Games Mag are just they're not that good.
Yeah,
and the games for what you're getting in most cases are still kind of overpriced on that damn thing.
Yeah, they are a bit pricey, man. I mean, you can get a game that's like a quote experience, but it's like $35 plus tax. I'm like, holy shit, dude. That's
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are amazing though. I really want to get the Climb 2 and stuff like that, but that's like $40 plus tax. I'm like, fuck, man. I could almost buy I could buy half a Ratchet and Clank for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. No, man, kudos to Phil and kudos to Xbox. The stuff that they're doing, that's definitely pro-consumer moves. Definitely. I mean, we know nobody should be stupid enough to know that everything that they do too, yes, of course, is about expanding their audience and making money. I mean, that's every business in the world is all about expanding and making money. But, there's some people that do it the hard way. They force your hand, to get that dollar. And then there's other companies that really go the extra mile. They reach out to their fans, they get great opinions and stuff like that. They listen to feedback, and they do it, that's that sort of thing. And Phil and them company are definitely doing that. Are they perfect? No, but I mean, they've come a long way, and I don't really see a lot of the other competing companies doing anything close or like that. I mean, look at Nintendo. Look at Nintendo as the complete opposite of Xbox, even more so than Sony, because Nintendo is notorious for ripping off its fans.
Oh, big time.
Right? Nintendo would stick a dildo up your ass, pull it out, and charge you for the shit on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they're ridiculous. I mean, by the way, I got a Switch this week. Did I tell you guys?
Yeah, the Switch, the Lite or whatever?
Yeah, I got the Switch Lite. Yeah, I got it last week or whatever, and then I got 3 games. My God, 4-year-old games are still $80 plus tax. So it's $100 fucking dollars. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys! Can we take it easy? But anyways, that's a whole other story. But the thing is, you brought it up. What I want to see, and which we may or may not ever find out, or there will be a change in some things. Like, for example, I want to see what the Game Pass effect is on these other companies. And I don't mean Nintendo, because Nintendo is its own beast. There will literally be 50-year-old men fist fight you over Animal Crossing. Like I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. Go back to your convention. But I'm talking about the Sony thing because that affects Sony directly, right? So what I want to see is how many copies of MLB The Show sold on PlayStation. I want to see how many copies of Returnal sold. And don't give me this horse shit about, there's not enough consoles out there. Well, apparently they're breaking records, so there's consoles out there. Okay, so there's that. And I want to see what the sales are on Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I want to see what those sales are in comparison where people are like, whoa, what the fuck? I got to pay $100 for each of those? And they're getting all of that for $10? And these are not poor quality games. I saw somebody put up a chart. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 27% of the games on Game Pass are rated 90 and above on Metacritic. That does not include the 80 and above, the 70 above, and of course, the 60s ones, right? But the majority of them were 80 and above on Metacritic. So we're not talking about poor quality games. So the thing is, I want to see the effect on how it's what it's doing to Sony's sales. Because if people are going to weigh out the two, they're like, why the fuck would I spend $100 on that when $100 can almost get me 8 months of Game Pass? And that'll get you dozens of games, dozens of new games, but hundreds of games that are already there. So I would like to see how that affects it. And the other thing that I think is going to affect, and this is where I think Sony's been full of shit from the beginning, okay, is that I still think Returnal's coming to the PS4, and I still think that Ratchet and Clank by winter is coming to the PS4. Because they're not hitting those sales numbers of $70 and above. The hardcore are doing it. Like the hardcore fans are buying those games, whatever. That's fine. But that doesn't make up the majority. Hardcore is like 15%. Maybe, if you're lucky, 15%. Right? So what I'm thinking is going to happen is that now they're going to start putting them on the PS4 because there's still 112, 113 million PS4s in the wild. And they're going to boost their sales that way. And, of course, put them on PC eventually. Right, so that's what I see happening. So I think that Game Pass is affecting these companies in a lot more ways than people are realizing.
Well, and I listened to a couple podcasts, and people are like throwing this weird thing out there, and they're saying, Sony. I've heard because some people say it. Sony needs a Game Pass answer. Well, they do have a Game Pass answer. It's just not a good one right now. Sony is, and you know what? Sony's about to have their time in the light for a couple weeks here, with the topics we're going to talk about later with Sony. And then on top of that, Sony's going to give their customers more for their service too. And their next little stream thing that they have, a state of play or whatever. I think they're going to be letting people know what they're going to be getting with that subscription service, because they cannot let Game Pass run this muck. And until till they put their first party games day and date, I don't think it'll ever compete with Game Pass. And look at all the and here's one of my reasons why. Look at all the third party deals Microsoft has made for Game Pass. Are you telling me that PlayStation is going to do anywhere near the same? Especially if they put their games first. That's a good question. You said, I want to know how much, Mag, you said, I want to know how much Ratchet and Clank sold.
If they were selling a lot, we would have heard by now, right? Because they ain't shy.
Well, I'd like to know that too, because, all right, so let's take that game, Ratchet and Clank, a Sony exclusive. Let's look at, I want to see those sales numbers. I want to compare it to let's say a game that went into Game Pass, either day and date or really close or whatever, and the more data the better. But I don't think those sales numbers are going to be too far off from the one that's in Game Pass, if that title doesn't even sell more than, let's say, a Ratchet and Clank. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, and the other thing is too is that you're mentioning about other games that have gone into Game Pass, like AAA titles, whatever, right? Did you know that their sales numbers were 60% higher if they were in Game Pass first? Because people had the opportunity to try them.
I've seen a lot of different numbers and stuff about that. I just don't know which one. I don't know what.
Well, that one that I just told you is a fact. I know that is a fact.
That's a fact.
And and those games. And right now, by the way,
it's hard to find credible sources on things like this.
Yeah, no, this came from Mr. Boomstick. So we were talking about it on the show, not this week, but the week before. And the other thing is actually Colt Eastwood was saying yesterday, 3 out of the top 5 games on Steam right now, sales, are Game Pass games. There you go. And 2 of those are first party. Sea of Thieves is number 1. And Forza Horizon 4 is like number 3 or 4, something like that. Oh, sorry. It was Halo Master Chief Collection still in there.
Yeah, that freaking Sea of Thieves update, man, spiked in its popularity yet again. And people think, people hate it when they hear It's funny because people on the other side, they love to, talk selling numbers so much. Oh, PlayStation has sold so many more consoles. Well, another thing they didn't think about is, hey, Microsoft right now is upgrading their server farms to Series consoles server farms.
Mm-hmm. It's already done, by the way. It went live last night.
PlayStation has nothing of the sort. So, they both have to still make that silicon, they got to, those things had to be created. So I don't think anyone's taking that into consideration when they talk about these consoles versus consoles sold. Yeah. Not only is Sony still, going to sell it in more random places throughout the world, but supposedly Microsoft has gotten a lot better in places, I think, like Japan. They said Japan, their numbers were really good.
Yes, they've grown exponentially. Now, that's not much to go on. Let's not lie to ourselves. If they sold 40 Xbox Ones,
right,
and now they sold 100, you know what I mean? You could say it's grown exponentially. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you sold 40. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's besides the point. The point is it's trending in a positive direction. But the thing is that something that I still want to touch on, and not touch on, I just want to reiterate, is the fact that it's actually increasing sales of the games. Yeah. That's the key. It's not just people abusing, and then just throw it away when they're done. People are actually turning around and buying the games because they have that opportunity to check them out, and then they're like, you know what? I want this in my library forever, right? And so they go and buy it. I mean, I don't do that. I don't see the use of that. I'll use and abuse the game to the ends of the earth, finish it, and then that's it. I'm done with it. Then I move on to the next game. I've always been like that. I'm not. If I get 1,000 out of 1,000 out of a game, I'm not going to keep playing it. What am I going to keep playing? Just wander in fucking circles?
Well, there was a game called Graveyard Keeper, and it went into Game Pass, and I beat it.
Yeah,
right?
I know the one.
I fell in love with it. It has since then come out with, I think, 3 expansions, which then I went and bought the game.
Yeah, I did the same thing for Little Nightmares 1.
Mm-hmm.
Little Nightmares 1 was was in Game Pass, and I think they also did it in Games with Gold. I can't remember which one. Anyways, because I didn't have to pay for the game, guess what I did do? I bought the season pass for all the expansion because I adored the game. So they made their money in that way. Or else the fact that, let's say you get a game like, I don't know, where you got Halo Infinite coming up. I don't have to spend $100 to buy that game. Well, guess what that just did? That actually benefits Sony too, by the way. Okay, that benefits Sony in a lot of more ways that people don't even realize, in a very indirect way. Is like, for example, I don't have to spend shit this fall because I absolutely adamantly refuse to buy Call of Duty because I think it's good. I've heard from more than one person that it's an absolute shit show behind the scenes. And look at, guys, it's July. We still don't even know the fucking title.
Well, look at
that
this
is unheard of.
It's not just this title. The last title was under a lot of development stress as well.
Yeah, because they're trying to stretch them too thin, man.
Well, Treyarch wasn't supposed to be on the last title.
Exactly. They got pulled on the last title because of all the whatever.
So that's all got thrown up in the air as far as their cycle goes.
Yeah, is that? And then Battlefield, I'm not buying day one. I absolutely refuse to buy it because it'll be either in Game Pass day one or it's coming out January in Game Pass. I don't give a fuck. I'm not paying for it. Here's the thing, though. Now, you just freed up all my money that I could buy Horizon Forbidden West, assuming that it comes out this fall. You see what I'm saying? So it actually benefits Sony because for a hardcore, I don't have to spend any money this fall. Literally nothing. I looked at it. I'm like, I was talking to my wife because she's my game share partner. I'm like, honey, there's like 20 games coming out. The only one we have to buy is Far Cry 6 and maybe Dying Light 2 because I still think Dying Light 2 is coming into Game Pass. Okay, because they have the marketing deal and they also invested $50 million into the production of the game to get it out of development hell. Okay, so guess what? That screams Game Pass to me. So therefore, I'm not buying shit this fall. Nothing, not a dime. So therefore, that being the case, I can now buy for Horizon Forbidden West. Maybe I can buy a Nintendo game. But here's the thing, though. With those Sony games and with those Nintendo games, without an avenue to even like give it a try, you're going to have people a lot less willing to just plunk down $100 on a maybe title.
Yeah.
And that is the key. Like, I will not buy a maybe title for Sony. And I'm a hardcore gamer. Okay. I've got 5, 6 actually next-gen consoles in this house as we speak, including the Oculus Quest 2. Okay, that's including that list.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I got that. But I ain't throwing down $105 on a game that I might not like.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck that. So the thing is, that is, I think people are going to be a little bit more trepidous, if I could use that word, on purchasing a Sony game because of the price. Like a God of War, you know I'm buying that shit day one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's unavoidable. Uncharted 5, you don't going to buy that day one. Horizon Forbidden West, I'm going to buy that day one. But how many of those games do they got coming? Maybe 6 in this entire generation. You remember Jim Ryan said it. He said we're going to have less but bigger and better quality games. But he said we're going to have less. So it's going to be a quality over quantity situation. He specifically said that right at the launch of the PS5. Anybody want to check it out? Go right back and Google.
Yeah.
The thing is that's part of his like lying, like rage of terror of just lies that he spewed out.
So now Sony's
I can't take that guy's word for anything more than any of these quote unquote insiders on the other team.
Yeah.
It's like
my PS5 I gave to my neighbor, by the way, not to keep forever, but he's got it now because I have nothing to play. Everything else is coming out on Game Pass. So I'm not playing it. I said, dude, you want this? Because he hasn't played Ghost of Tsushima. He hadn't played Last of Us 2. He hadn't played Miles Morales. So I'm like, you know what? Mind you, I was kind of drunk when I brought it over there. I was feeling generous. So I walked back over to my house. I unplugged my PS5. I'm like, here you go, dude. Keep it for the summer. I'm not even kidding. Because I'm not going to turn it on. I'm literally just going to be staring at it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, there's no point. And then, like I said, we don't have a release date for Horizon.
If I see you online, it's not you then?
No, if you see somebody online for, like, I guess for the next month or so, it's not actually me. It's my neighbor. Yeah.
It's kind of shocking to me how much I would expect games as a service games with like heavy DLCs, heavy microtransactions. I would expect those to be perfect in Game Pass for everybody, right? I can't believe how it's taken off outside of those non-games as a service games. That realm, that's kind of even shocking to me. And it's really cool that they're getting all these. And you know what? Kudos to Microsoft's marketing team on this for letting everyone know that when a game that's not a games as a service goes into Game Pass, that it's actually they're seeing positive effects for their sales and for everything, right? The exposure of the game. Kudos to them for letting everyone know that. I think that's I don't think I've ever given them any props for that, and I sure harp on them a lot from time to time, but this one they definitely got right. What do you think?
You talking to me or Noof?
Because
apparently Axel's got a problem because he said Noof hasn't spoken for like 10 minutes. You know why, Axel? Because we're talking.
That's right. And we're talking about Game Pass. And you know me, I don't really have much to say on the matter. So, yeah. But,
I'm just messing with you, Axel. You're an awesome dude.
Before we get
Good
to
show
the
Sunday, by the way.
segment, I did want to ask you guys this question. I wanted to ask this. Like, I know this is a hard one to call, and it's a theoretical question, but where do you guys see Game Pass going? I mean, obviously, the value is there. Every time we turn around, there's more games added to it. I think now we're between the PC side and the Xbox side. I think there's over 400 games on there that you can play, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
what do you think is the next evolution for this service? Where do you think Microsoft takes this outside of perhaps obviously Game Pass to the TVs and stuff, which I think the writing's on the wall. I think we can kind of see that coming. It would make logical sense. Game Pass on a USB stick or Game Pass built straight into a television, and the televisions come with an Xbox controller out of the box. Outside of that, like what do you think it is? I mean, I definitely see the price going up too, and I worry people, and I think that's part of the reason I haven't jumped on so much as well, because I hate the quick, easy, the bait and hook tactics that companies use, and I'm not just referring to Microsoft, but like a lot of people, it's whether it's your cable company or your cell phone, they give you these fantastic deals where they throw in this and they throw in that, and they make it attractive for you to get this. And then a couple of years later, there's this increase up. I mean, increases are part of life. Don't get me wrong. They're out there. They always happen, but they have to happen like organically, so to speak, not just because, now we've got a user base that's super big. And then they're going to start feeding you. Well, it takes a lot of money to update these servers and this, that, and something else. And just, and all of a sudden that $17.99 goes to $19.99. And then a year later, it's $21.99. And then it's $24. And $17.99, by the way, I think it's the cost of Game Pass Ultimate up here in Canada for those who didn't know. But you see what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes me wary. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, too, like if it gets outrageous, you can always cancel it. So, that's the thing. As long as you're not baited into a contractual obligation where you got to buy this crap for 3 or 4 years, like a lot of cable companies do. Well, you got to get this 2-year term before to get the best deal. So what do you guys feel?
I think it's going to be the most subscribed to gaming service by far. And I mean, it's going to people say Sony doubled consoles sold or whatever last gen. I think Microsoft is going to have well over double the Game Pass subscribers as, let's say, PlayStation Plus or whatever. So, and I think what you're referring to, the price, right? 2 ways the price goes up to me. One, if they don't meet, this is years down the road, mind you, 5 years minimum, probably closer to 10 years down the road. Like maybe we might see a price hike if they probably don't meet their subscription numbers, right? Because, the beauty of this is when you have so many people subscribing to Game Pass, then you have more, right? Because it costs you X amount of dollars, right? And if they by the money coming in right now already for how many subs they got in Game Pass, 20 something million right now, right? If they're already covering, their headway and making money on this, right, they can keep investing in it and keep getting more people, because you're not going to get those extra people that are not subscribed to right now. You're not going to get them until you make these crazy, just like the things that they have been doing, but we know about it because we're hardcore gamers, and there's so many people that just haven't heard the word hasn't been spread yet, or for whatever reason or another. But to the price change, I don't think the price change will ever go up as long as Phil Spencer is the head of Xbox gaming division. That dude, I don't think anything would ever happen negatively under that dude's reign. Now when he retires, let's look out. Right, it's time to fucking everyone be alert, caution.
Let's increase the cost of this thing. Fucking nail these bastards.
I will literally start shaking in my boots when he retires and someone else has to take his spot, because they will have enormous shoes to fill. Absolutely, no, it's going to be ridiculous.
In reference to what you're saying about the future of Game Pass, Noof, I don't think that there will be price increases. That's obvious. I think they're going to do it tastefully. Remember what happened in January when there was even a hint of the Xbox Live Gold thing going up, and they saw the backlash. They don't forget things like that. And the thing is, I don't think they would do that anyway. I don't think that was ever their plan. I think that was a miscommunication. I know apparently Phil was pissed about that situation because he wasn't 100% in the know as to what was going on. It was a bureaucratic decision on a different level than him. And he did not like that because apparently, obviously it reflected bad on the Xbox brand. And I know that for sure that he was pissed. Yeah. So anyways, the point is, I think they will do it kind of like Netflix, like everything else. I mean, let's face it. Look at McDonald's, for Christ's sake. Yeah. You know what I mean? 5 years ago, you can get a combo for $5. Now it's 10. You know what I mean? At least up here anyway, but, and if not more. And so anyway, the point is it's going to go up, but I think they will do so tastefully. They'll do so quietly, and to expect anything less would be kind of, asinine, because that's what these companies do. I mean, they slowly but surely start cranking the dollars out of you, and they're like, well, inflation and cost of living is going up, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not making more, motherfucker. I'm still making the same as I was 2 years ago. But that's an us problem. You know what I mean? That's
right.
us as part of the great unwashed, as you want to call us, the common folk.
And if you wanted
Right?
to see a little bit of meat between two shallow buns, I'll send you the Cletus porn video.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an us problem. You know what I mean? And just like you said, Noob, you either go with it or you don't. You know what I mean? You either go, you could cancel it if you think it's too much money or whatever. That's fine.
Yes.
But what I do see happening, to answer your question even more specifically, is that what I do see happening is that I see them making more deals with these larger companies like the Ubisofts and stuff like that, like throwing in like Ubisoft Plus in there and getting like a library of their games in there. I also see them making deals if they don't purchase them, which I'm hearing it might be a possibility. TT Games, the guys who make the Lego games. Okay, let's say they do not purchase them for whatever reason. Okay, I could see them making a deal with them saying, listen, we're going to give you guys an X amount of dollars for whatever. 2 years, give us your entire back catalog of Lego games in the Game Pass. And then rotate these companies like that. So, in fact, without having to buy them, you're essentially kind of renting them for a few years, right? And then after that 2 years is over, then you move on to another service, Ubisoft Plus. Throw that in there for 2 years. Look at EA Play. They're doing it right now. Right? And we don't know how long that's going to be in there for. It's been there for a year almost, hasn't it? I think it was last fall. Mm-hmm. I think EA Play went into Game Pass. So, something like that. So now it's been almost a year and there's no sign that it's going anywhere.
That's right.
Right? So like I could see them making all these different deals. So instead of actually continuously buying all these companies to build first-party games, I see them doing a lot of that third-party stuff and saying, hey, listen, TT Games, give us all 22-year Lego games. 2 years, here's the money, blah, 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 done. It's no skin off their fucking back. It's not like they're doing anything with like Lego Star Wars from 15 years ago or Lego Indiana Jones from 10 years ago. They're not doing anything with them. They're getting paid just to have access to their IP. Why wouldn't you? Right? So I can see a lot of companies doing that, especially as they look at it that as like an extra income. It's almost like renting out your basement to help pay for your mortgage.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you're not doing anything, and there you go. You're making that extra scratch off the side. While that gives them also money to be able to produce new games for them to sell. It's a win-win for everybody. So that's what and I've also heard that Game Pass has a minimum 6-month waiting list to get in. And a lot of devs are like, oh, I hope they pick us next, because there's also a pool of people that they haven't even selected yet for after the 6-month waiting list is over. That's pretty fucking wild.
Portal Player said an interesting thing in the chat. He said PC gamers would rather use Steam. And I'll tell you this, I guarantee Microsoft is slowly gaining subs in the PC world as well. But Portal, like, what if, I do not know much about the PC side of things, but what if, like, real-time strategy games, like, the next Age of Empires, what if that only comes out, on Game Pass or whatever?
I don't see that, Titan.
You don't see that happening?
Brother. Because look what they're doing now. You've got all those games in Game Pass are still for sale on Steam. And as I just said, like 15 minutes ago, they're in the top 5 sellers. So they still got that deal going on. So like, yeah, you can get Game Pass. But the thing is, Sea of Thieves is still the number 1 seller right now. Forza Horizon 4 is like 3 or 4. And Master Chief Collection is still in the top 5.
Yeah. So
they're still saying, I can't see them cutting it off because that would look bad. That'd be bad PR. I mean, that's just me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to try to get off the... Go ahead.
Well, even so, real quick, even if it does go, like eventually, people are just going to look at Game Pass like, why would you? It's got to be like that right now, especially when their big Xbox's big quote unquote bangers come out, like Starfield, this and that. Isn't it just going to be so much easier just to get Game Pass anyways? Instead,
that's what they're banking on.
Yeah, and like that's what how do you not see that that's the way it's going, right? How do you argue against that? Just because like there's any PC gamer out there right now that's hardcore would rather play on Steam. Things change though. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah. See, the legend is in the house, Mr. Wilmy Hood. Yes, the coolest man on Wednesday nights, the man with the shades. That's right. He lays it down and lays it down thick. What's going on, Wilmy? Glad you could be here, man. Acute perspective. How you doing? Fastback, our NLG brother, is in a house. What is happening, bro? I see Cyber Gunter's been hanging out with us. Crazy Greek dude is here. Crispy Rambo. We got Portal Player up in here stirring the shit pot as he always does. Spider-Man is here. Albert GDE. What's going on, guys? Blue Moon FC. Yeah, the list goes on, man. Great crew in the house right now. Doggy Dog still hanging out with us here right now. 68 amazing, fantastic people. What's going on? So let's try to move the topic along here. We don't need to beat Game Pass to death. It seems like it always keeps coming around. It's one of those things. Phantom Kraken's here. What's going on, Phantom? Glad you can see here. Let's do the Ask Arnold segment, and then we'll get into our next topic. Iceman says Game Pass for life. Well, for many people, it probably will be. And I'll just end off in saying the one thing I can definitely see probably happening with Game Pass as well is more tiers. More tiers of perhaps the service. Like it may go up in price, but I think as it does as well, they may offer people options. So perhaps, like, say if you're a parent and you get kids and most of your games are, say, E-rated games or something, perhaps there could be like tiered levels of Game Pass could be technically cheaper, but you kind of get to select more of the games that you're interested in watching or playing, as opposed to just kind of getting the whole gauntlet and half of them don't apply to you or whatever. I don't know. It could be a thing. You never know. So we'll see what happens. So that sort of thing. And yeah, you never know. Something like even a DE here, Game Pass Max Plus, like Adless Ultra Uber. Maybe they do something that is advertising based as well to offset some of the costs, where you get some advertising or some kind of junk, but you never know. So let's do the Ask Arnold, guys. Let's get the questions ready. I'm sure the panel has got something ready, and I'm pretty sure the chat will always have some wacky stuff to go as well. So let's drop them down here right now.
Arnie, what gaming insider do you put your trust in?
I don't trust into the gaming insider. The only insider that I'm going to trust is myself when I'm actually insider. That's the only thing that I want to trust. I don't trust insiders. Most of them are full of crap. This, you know what I'm saying? They're always spouting off of their mouth. They just want to get out there and they have they get the information out early. And then they try to gloat about it. They try to get cloud and drive people to the service and over to the websites. And a lot of the time it's just absolute crap. You know what I mean? And then they got to come back and they got to eat the words. So I don't like insider unless I'm insider. Spread your legs. Just do it.
Unless I'm insider.
Who else? Got any more questions, chat? Mag?
Get your questions in, everybody, in the chat.
People normally are coming fast and furious.
Yeah.
What's going on?
People are a little slow. It's like,
they're all talking to each other.
Arnie, what do you think of your son-in-law, Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt is an awesome guy. I like him, but the homie stays sexy and sleek. At times Chris Pratt, he gets a little bit fat. So, the fat ass that dated my daughter, he's got to get out there. He's got to make sure he's pumping the muscles. He's got to be the guardian of the galaxy, not the guardian of the toilet and the outhouse. You know what I mean? So he's got to be awesome, Chris Pratt. We love you, but I want to make sure, I don't want any girly man in the house. I don't want, you have to have more rolls than a bakery. No, that's not what they do. I'm almost 70 years old, and look at me, I'm still in pristine shape. I'm like a glass of fine wine, you know what I mean?
Jesse's got a good one.
Yeah, you got Jesse. Yeah.
Yeah, this is in response to what's been going on this week. Arnold, is Microsoft cutting you a check for shilling for Xbox?
I will shill for whatever company wants to pay me the money. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it like a lot of crap-ass people do out there. No, I'm going to take the money. That's just what they want. That's what the world makes it go round. Besides, I've got to have lots of food for my donkey. Maybe I'll go out to buy another Hummer, or perhaps I'll hire 5 maids and get them all knocked up, and then I'll have to pay the alimony.
I got a good one here from Axel1342 Gaming. He says, Arnold, why didn't Noof buy a sweet cruiser bike like you had in Terminator?
Because Noof Noogum is full of shit. He doesn't know anything. I mean, look, if Noof Noogum had any common sense at all, I mean, he'd already have Game Pass, so I don't expect anything less. I'm surprised he didn't buy some kind of one of those little European scooters or something like that. They're putting around the backyard, big ambitions, but little bike. That's what Noof Noogum would do, you know what I mean? It's like Noof Noogum. He got a big cranium, small brain, little penis. That's what he suffers from. So this Newfoundland's got disorders. I'm trying to calm him down and to talk to him behind the scenes, but he doesn't want to come around. There's only so many times you can slap an idiot, and you just got to give up slapping.
Arnold, have you ever done rodeo?
I would ride anything. If it bucks, I fuck. That's it. If it bucks, I fuck. I will ride it. Bring it to me. Put it in the yard.
That was fantastic.
One more, guys. One more.
Jay Slayer 66. He asks Arnold, "Are you going to help Chris hire a good maid?"
I will get him the very best maid. I will go ahead and I'll even hire the old actresses from Who's the Boss or whatever the hell it is. I will get him the best maids that money can buy. I'll get him a minute maid. You got it made, get it laid, whatever the hell it is I got to do for him. Chris Pratt, and he doesn't need it, but I'm going to make sure that he has a good time in my house. The thing is, if he fuck my daughter, he could get her pregnant. I'd rather him fuck the maid and get her pregnant. He can fuck my donkeys. They're out there. They need to get some ass. Ass getting ass. I love it. All right, guys. Fantastic.
That was wonderful.
Great questions tonight. Jay Slayer, Jay, what's going on, brother? Glad you could be here. Royal Boyle, what's up? Mike Mullis, what's happening? Hope you enjoyed that segment. I think Arnold was on point tonight. Let me tell you. There you go.
Oh,
Assassin Loop was laughing in the chat. Good stuff. Let's move on to the next topic of the evening. Kind of a big surprise and some great positive news from Sony. I guess it depends on how you look at it. I look at it as positive news, and I'm totally happy for PlayStation, and certainly for PlayStation players, as they decided to drop some coin and snag up and sign Housemarque. That is the developer who just recently relaunched Returnal, which seems to be getting not only good critical scores, but a lot of people seem to really enjoy and love this game. So kind of a bit of news out of nowhere. There's also looks like they're saying that BluePoint might be signed. I guess there was an article or something that came out with a screen capture, and I think it was from it was Japanese or something, but something welcome to the family, and then the little logo BluePoint. So I think it's cool news. I think it's a great get for Sony. They bolster an already fantastic lineup of in-house studios to make games, and it'll be interesting to see what Housemarque makes in the future moving forward. So how do you guys feel about it? I know Titan might have a different opinion since, again, he doesn't have the PlayStation and he hasn't played the game. I haven't played the game. I'm not interested in Returnal, but I do have a PS5. It's just one of those games that just, honest to God, for me, it's just like, no, I'll pass. But how do you guys feel about the news today?
All right. You know what? I'm going to say, you know what? That's great for Sony. I'm actually... Housemarque, obviously they have the pedigree, right? They have the talent, and the thing is, what you're basically purchasing is that you're purchasing potential, okay, for what they could do in the future. Now, the thing is, it didn't really move the needle for me because if you actually look at right now, unless they start producing at a much faster rate, this ain't that big of a deal. Now, the thing is, I'm not sure Returnal did very well in the critical response, and of course from a lot of the fans. Like, look at Mooch. Shout out to Mooch, by the way. And no, it's not me. Shout out to Mooch. He got the platinum on Returnal, which is like mind-boggling. I don't know how the hell he did that. He told me it took over 100 hours. But anyways, I didn't play the game either. But the thing is, it got the great response from the hardcore audience who actually purchased it, and of course from the critics. It's wonderful. But they just released it. And if you go back and look at you look at Housemarque, they released Returnal, and then they released Resogun 8 years ago. Like, what the fuck were they doing for like a decade? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they're going to have to start producing way more content if they want to do that. See, now, the way I look at it, you know what moved the needle for me was when Sony purchased Insomniac. That was a big deal. And you know why? Not only did they make incredible AAA games, which, of course, Housemarque is doing as well, but I'm just saying they're cranking out hits. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, and now they got something else in the works. I'm sure they've got a Spider-Man 2 in the works right now. I'm sure they've got a Miles Morales 2 in the works right now. Like, you pick up a dev team like Insomniac, that's major because they're going to be cranking out hits after hits after hits for Sony. Housemarque has Resogun and Returnal in almost 10 years. Like, unless they got something we don't know about, which I'm sure they do, and that's the thing. You see, the key is what goes on behind the scenes. Housemarque probably says, hey, listen, we finished with Returnal. We got plans for this, this, and this. And obviously Sony sees that potential. They're not buying them for Returnal. The fucking game already came out.
I don't know, 3 projects for that little team. That's the thing. I want to know how many devs they got. I want to see some numbers. Why did they not publish the numbers? Like
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna expand the like Microsoft is doing. Maybe they're gonna expand the dev team and then split them up and then be you guys work on this, you guys work on that. When the big AAA titles getting close to completion, bring the small team in to help them out. They could work with Naughty Dog.
Well, let's
they
look
could
at
work
it this
with
way.
Sony Santa Monica.
Every time
move.
Microsoft has made an acquisition, we've known everything from how much they purchased them
they're
for.
More transparent, though. They're more transparent. Sony doesn't talk. That's the way they are. The only one who talks is that fucking jackass Jim Ryan. Did you hear him today? Again, he brought it up. Oh, we buy things organically or to grow organically. We don't just throw billions around. And I'm like, yeah, because you don't have billions to throw around, bitch. You do. I mean, I'm just joking, but I mean, but at the same time, why does that guy speak? The whole company's silent, but the only one who talks is the jackass. They should have somebody else talking. Bring Leighton back, for Christ's sake. That guy was incredible. Anyways, the point is, I think that it's a good purchase, and I would like to see what collaborations they do with the other big first-party studios that Sony has, and see what they come out in the future. Because, like I said, they didn't buy him for Returnal; they bought him for whatever they've got coming up, okay, or what they're going to be working on. But don't expect it in the next 5 years. At least I don't think. At least if you look at any track record of like the way Sony operates, yes, they release incredible games, but for Christ Almighty, yes, it takes a long time for those games to come out. Naughty Dog, it's like 2 every decade. Like Jesus Christ, they released 2 games, 2.5 if you include Lost Legacy, in an entire generation. And we're not going to include the remake of the remaster of the remake of the remaster of Last of Us, and then the other remake of the remaster of the remake that's coming out. For the PS5. But anyways, the point is that I'm more interested in the possibility of BluePoint going to Sony. That, to me, is the bigger purchase. Like I said, Returnal didn't even move my dick, not even an inch. But BluePoint does. And I mean, not that BluePoint was making games for anybody else. Let's get serious. It's not like they're making games for Xbox and Nintendo and Sony. They're making it basically just for Sony. So they're practically first party team already. But I'm more interested in that because you know what they can do is they could dig into that Sony past, because obviously their forte is building up remakes from the ground up, right? Kind of games. Look at Sony's history. They got a hell of a history and they got a hell of a pedigree of the past of some amazing titles that I would love to see come back. So if they, if this BluePoint thing kind of pans out, that's where I'm more interested in. I want to see a ground up remake 2022, 2023 version of the original Metal Gear or stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Castlevania,
I
whatever.
agree with you there, Meg. Like on the BluePoint thing, that personally would excite me more. Just because they're amazingly talented with doing these remakes, remasters, remakes, I guess, more or less. Like you said, it would be exciting what they could do with more remakes, as people have said, like Metal Gear or whatever it might be. But the thought of what they could do as well, if Sony lets them go wild, because they obviously know how to do technology. Their games always look phenomenal. So imagine what they could do if they were allowed to just, hey guys, we're going to let you do a new IP of your own. Maybe they'll crank it up a few notches,
Exactly. They've got the talent to do it. And like I said, I'm not discounting Housemarque. I'm not. They are incredibly talented studio. However, their output is not exactly stellar in terms of like the timing of it. Like, what are they going to release? 1 game for the PS5?
The timing as well as what how long it took for them to put out that product. And then
that's the product look like.
Does
Exactly.
that look like a AAA title to you?
Yeah.
I would say no. I would say
I'd
definitely
say 50-50
double A.
on that.
I would say definitely double A. It's a good double A game. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have it, but I mean, I don't like. I can judge these games by their cover. I've been doing it since I was 6 years old at Blockbuster. I've gotten pretty damn good at judging a game by its cover. Like, I'm not going to rent that game because that game's going to be trash. I was a poor little boy. Do you have any idea how much work and thought went into renting a damn game? You know how long I got? You know how often I got to rent a game? It wasn't much. I was very poor. I lived in a trailer, not even in a trailer park, just a fucking trailer. I'm little fucking nowhere. And so you can imagine the emphasis I put, right? like I basically studied games. I studied the box. I studied everything that was about it, before I made that rent. And I think that's carried over even to, me and my 38-year-old age. And I still look at, every game that's in Game Pass. I love looking at games. I love trying to tell if I'll like be a fan of this game before I even download it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? You guys ever do that?
Yeah. No, I do that. Yeah, I do that.
And a lot of like I put a lot into that because when you like say before Game Pass, right? When I would buy a game and that game would be a shitter, you'd be like, God damn it, man. It would piss me off so bad. And so that's probably another reason why I love Game Pass. It is in itself. I don't got to worry about that. I could download it, try it out, do whatever, Yeah. But as far as these acquisitions, I really don't like that we don't know how many devs are on this team, because that would easily tell us what type of quality they're going to probably develop in the for their next title. Like you said, we've got this in the works. All right, so is that a AA game? Is it a AAA game? Because right now Microsoft is churning out AAA games.
Phantom Kraken is a question for you.
Whether they're going to be good or not, go ahead and read it. Whether they're going to be
how
good
the
or
hell
not.
did you end up loving Smite? Did you study that?
Free to play game, man. Free to play game, Phantom. Don't gotta worry about it.
You mentioned that about you don't know what kind of games they're going to be making. Well, the thing is though, you got to admit they do grow their dev teams and studios. Excuse me, they do grow their studios organically. So Jim Ryan is not lying about that.
Let's not even give that a fucking. Let's not even talk about that. That's gonna piss me off.
I know, but Naughty Dog was not always the Naughty Dog we know now.
No.
They were a AA team at best making PC games. All right. And then Sony picked them up, and then they ended up doing what? They made what's it called? The orange asshole that jumps around.
Crash Bandicoot.
There you go, Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
Orange asshole that jumps around.
I couldn't remember his fucking name. Oh man. They made Crash Bandicoot and stuff. Yeah, okay, it was good. It was a good platformer. It was pretty revolutionary for the time because it was like a 2D, 3D kind of thing. That was pretty wild. But at the same time, at the end of it, what do? They look what they're doing now. Okay, like you can't argue about that. And like same thing with Sony Santa Monica, all these other studios, Insomniac, they were not cranking out games like they are now. But they built them up that way, right? They gave them more money. They gave them more team. They gave them more team members. Okay, the budget's increased, the ideas increased, things got bigger, better.
So what is the difference between saying that and saying this terrible quote, because I hate it, organically grown? What's the difference?
Know. Maybe it's grass-fed, Titan. What do you want me to say?
So organically grown means they don't use pesticides when they're growing their fucking first-party studios. If anyone uses pesticides, it's Sony, believe me.
And by the way, just so you guys know, the devs are free-range devs. So they let them run free for about 2 hours a day. They eat grain only, and then they go back to work. Yes. So they're free-range developers only at Sony.
Yeah.
Organically grown farm-to-table developers.
That's funny.
But yeah, anyways, I could see them becoming much bigger. BluePoint, I could see just doing what they're doing, because what they're doing is obviously incredibly good. But what I do see with Housemarque, I do see them growing into something way bigger than they are. However, that shit doesn't happen overnight. So that's what I'm saying. Do not expect greatness next year. Don't expect the year after. I'm thinking minimum 2023 and beyond. Then you'll see something from Housemarque, and who knows what kind of level it'll be. Maybe it'll be way bigger than what we expect, what we saw with Returnal. Maybe Returnal was their audition. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like they called them last night and said, "Hey guys, you want to be part of the team?" Okay, all right, we'll announce it tomorrow. Like they've known for a year. You know what I'm saying? They know for even longer than that. Like even with Xbox and ZeniMax, they were talking a year and a half before that deal even was announced. Okay, they were talking. All right, so that's how it works. So this could have been their audition. They say, you know what? This game actually turned out pretty good. We like you guys, whatever. Show us what you're working on for the future. They see that it was something that obviously, if they purchased them, they didn't purchase them for no reason. They obviously purchased them for a reason. They saw what they've got coming up. They see potential, and they said, you know what? Let's get these guys. And they're not doing it to battle Game Pass guys. Don't.
Yes, they
thing.
are. What the hell are you talking about?
They can't because they can't. Because if Sony buys
but
one
that's
studio,
still their
Microsoft
goal,
will buy
though.
10.
Yeah, but that's still their goal. You know what? It's like what this reminds me of is like a fucking like a boxer. He's just like throwing a bunch. You know, he's doing what he can. He's throwing, you know, little weak ass shit here and there because he's got to deal some damage. Because Sony's getting fucking trampled right now. I picture like Ivan Drago versus, you know, Glass Joe. Which that new boxing game? There's a new what do you call it? Like Creed boxing game coming out, which looks pretty cool. But it looks a little too like arcade-ish. I don't know. Usually those games, like the gameplay in those arcadey boxing games, don't usually work out. Mm-hmm. But anyways, where was I? I want to talk I want to change gears here and just ask you guys, like, how many weeks? And seriously, answer this seriously, Noof. How many weeks has it been since we talked about Jim Lion Ryan saying you can't throw money at gaming and expect it to improve? How many weeks has it been?
Fair point.
I don't know.
Fair point.
It was like last week we talked about that.
Yeah, no,
Noof.
he did say it. I think it was like last month. It was May.
Right.
He did say that.
We talked about this last week. So fucking Jim. So you didn't throw money at these guys. So what'd you fucking throw at them? Hookers. You got some hookers. You got, you know, like, what's going on, man? Like, and people follow this guy. This is what I can't stand. Go ahead and hit these super chats while I just fucking.
Yeah, we got a couple of super chats here while Titan festers. We got Shane Tomlin. He drops the €5. Well, fiddly diddly. Great points. But did you know Game Pass is $1 for 3 months? This super chat paid for by Phil Spencer. LOL.
Fantastic.
Great one, Shane. DJ Bertodos drops $5. He says, I wish I had Drago's vision. I'd be able to look on Tinder and get all the freaks by studying their profile.
Even I, back in my, you know, when I used to date on the internet, even I got fake picked. You just can't stop getting fake picked. That was the worst date I've ever had in my life.
Dude, you know what you got to do?
As soon as I walk up to the place and she like waves her hand at me, I'm like, that ain't even the fucking picture. This bitch, she fucking fake.
It's called Titan Vision. The only thing that's better than that is his Titan smell. He can smell a skank a mile away.
Or my bath water, which is on sale, by the way.
Oh, my God.
That's right. Pick up your jug now.
Pick up your jug.
Yeah, right, jug. Titan, by the way, when you
Titan Tonic. Titan's bathtub
Titan
tonic. Right?
Yeah, you should drink that next week. See how you do. Titan,
like
when you
my
do
own flavor
date or online dating, you tell them to meet you at a place, and then you scout them out from afar.
But
so that you can see them sitting there alone, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
You don't think I did this? But I didn't fake pick myself. She fucking saw me coming in the goddamn door, man.
Oh, fair enough. Damn it. Anyways, neither one of us have to worry about that shit anymore, so it's all good. Yeah.
It's true, thank God, right?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yes.
Titan was munter hunting.
What?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means either.
Munter
Next
hunting.
topic.
Monster hunting? Munter. I don't know what that is. Stu, being safe. What's going on? And thanks for that funny one. Yes, Munter Hunter. Oh, that's weird. Sounds like a weird game. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, Philly Eagle, what's happening, man? Thanks for stopping in and joining us. Got Iceman LMH in the chat. Iceman, I missed you when I did the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit the other week, bro. Where was you? Expecting you to come there. But yeah, you didn't. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Yeah, we done with this topic? I guess we kind of are technically.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's good for Sony at the end of the day. Obviously, they're snapping up studios. They want to have more studios as well, because obviously right now the cash cow for Sony and the reputation that they have right now, the big thing, and this is the one thing that Xbox still has to remedy a little bit, is that Sony studios, while still less than Microsoft's, I mean, they're pumping out some, really big games, at least statistically, metacritically, they're I hate to say a better word, but they're bangers. You know what I mean? Like they're games that are getting notoriety for mostly the right reasons, the majority of the time. And Xbox needs to start, bringing that, where they need some big hits, things that come out swinging outside of, Ori. And I think the reason Ori doesn't get enough love in those games because it's more of an indie title. You know what I mean? It's not a big story based kind of game. There's not a lot to it. It's a great game, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's obviously, people don't put Ori in the same sentence as Ghost of Tsushima or God of War and those kind of games. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Xbox has to turn things around a bit. And they've had potential. Like you take a game like Recore, which had all the elements of a fantastic game, but it came up short. It felt like a game that had everything to be a great game, but then just fell short. There wasn't enough there. Maybe it was rushed out. They didn't have a big enough development team, right? So I don't know. Yeah, let's move on. Titan, I'm guessing tonight, because you haven't mentioned anything, Drago's Corner. You got an opponent tonight, or are we just moving this one along for another week?
You know what? Last week's was so awesome. I'm thinking let's use this week as a setup for next week. So type in the chat now. Chat, do me a favor. Type in the chat now. Who do you want to see in my corner next week?
Yes.
And we'll do the most. I'll go ahead and tally them up. I'll sum them up over the next couple minutes. You guys will have a couple minutes, and then I'll sum up, and next week we'll bring who you guys vote for. So any alter ego you could think of, go ahead and vote in the chat now. And next week, I'll let you guys know at the end of the show.
An alter ego, or perhaps a podcaster that you know and love. Maybe we'll get them on the show, and maybe they will be willing to go one-on-one, mano with Titan. Let us know. We've already had Cerebral Paul come on. Assassin Lupa came on, and Assassin Lupa put Titan in his place. And
I wasn't here that week, Noof.
No, it was me.
That's what I'm saying. She did it without you even being here.
Man, damn.
Cletus versus Arnold. Oh, that'll be an interesting one indeed. Yeah, Cletus versus Arnold. Me versus me. Yes.
There's a whole lot of Jim Ryan
here.
Of course, I'm in the chat. Chase, what are you talking about? What the heck are you talking about? Colt Eastwood. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Good luck getting him on the show.
He'd be like, Titan, you're a
nice guy.
Meanie.
I have a better chance of getting a lobotomized turtle on this fucking show. Like, you know what I mean? Get the hell.
By the way, we got almost 80 in the chat, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. Hit that thumbs up, folks. Come on.
Hey, we got Emmanuel A1. Haven't seen you in a while, Emmanuel, but he comes in swinging. Emmanuel. He drops $5 in the super chat. Love the show, guys, especially when Cletus chimes in. Keep up the good work, and Dolby Vision gaming makes you a better gamer. Yeah. All right. Well, Emmanuel, since you dropped that super chat, and I know you're dying to hear him, Cletus, can you come out of that closet for a second and at least say something?
Well, hey, fiddly diddly. Yeah, Cletus here. Yeah, last week, let me tell you, man, that was a great show. I was really happy. I got to go up against the Mag. You know, we had a good time. We was spitting things back and forth just like the chiclets, you know what I'm saying? And Mag he was doing good. He was Tony Bloney. Yes, Tony Bloney. He was giving it to me. He was giving me gears. I wasn't quite prepared for the heat that he was laying down. I haven't seen that much heat since the pig's ass in the backyard, but yeah, it was a good time. And then, then we went off the rails with a whole lot of fiddly diddly diddlies, you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope he likes it. You tell your wife that's if you want to make your woman come, that's what you do. You do like a Cletus. You get between the legs. You get between your legs. You get your tongue all motioned up, okay? And when you get down there, when you start going real fast, and then you got to go fiddly diddly 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 diddly, and then it'll be coming on your tongue, son. Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm taking notes right now. I'm going to hold you responsible.
Yeah, if you get slapped, don't blame Cletus. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's like divorce right there.
Doing that right there. Tighten me down.
Can you imagine that? Your dad, all of a sudden you just got it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden it's like, it's like, get the fuck out of this house. Pack your shit and go to your parents.
Oh my god.
Oh, so Meg, like,
but Noob told me to do it.
I gotta know, Mag, you got kids. So do your kids ever hear you and your wife going at it?
What? What do you think
Yeah.
we are, fucking baboons?
All right. Well, apparently I'm a baboon.
Fucking screaming like assholes.
We always tell them we're giving each other massages.
Holy fuck, Titan! What are they standing outside the door? What kind of a monster are you? We wait till they go to sleep, for fuck's sake. And well, you know what, mind you, my kids are young, right? So my kids are 8 and 5, so it's not really a big deal. But like, because they're asleep by like 8:30, right? But the thing is, yeah, I could see some nights getting whatever because like if we're both drunk or something. But Jesus Christ, man. What are they right outside the door?
Hey, man,
Dad, what are you doing in there?
I'm giving your mom a massage, man.
Oh my God, how do you even keep it up talking to your kids? As soon as I hear the name Daddy, insta-limp.
Let Fastback, he said, yes, let me tell my wife I want to cletus her clitoris.
You know what? Holy shit, Fastback. Why don't you go face Titan next week?
There you go. Got to bring
one of those
Fastback
NLG crew guys. Come on, man. Or,
Yes.
you know what? What about one of your Good Morning Xbox crew? Besides Cerebral, because Cerebral's already done it.
We'll get HDK on her. Might be the longest segment ever.
Oh my God.
Oh shit, that was funny. You guys are awesome, man. Yes, indeed. Oh shit. All right. Well, let's move the show right along. 9:27 here in at least in my time, Mountain Time. So we're about halfway in, and don't forget Tony Baloney. He is on deck here in just a few minutes. And let's talk about a game that we really haven't talked about a whole lot in the last while. It's kind of slowly, or I guess quickly, fallen off the radar for many, but it's a game that obviously had huge potential and fell short of the mark. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the only Cyberpunk 2077. Apparently with the latest patch, and it is quite substantial. I think it was the biggest patch I can recall downloading in a while. It was like 30 something gigs the other day. It's a new stability patch, and the developer seems to be quite happy. Plus, Sony has actually added it back to the PlayStation Plus store, but has put a disclaimer on the PS4 version saying that, you know, it's still a work in progress, but if you have a PS4 Pro or playing this on the PS5, it should run relatively well. So who's still playing Cyberpunk? Do you even care anymore? Yeah, Lady Fox or Cyber Who? Where do we stand on this game? Is the damage done for Cyberpunk? Like, is it almost to the point now where it's too late to kind of bring this around, or like, how do you fix this game that's deeply damaged? And anybody here can have it. Lots of people still love it. I do see the odd person playing it. I haven't played it in months. So where are we at with that? And the fact that the developer seems happy, that's good. But like I said, is it almost a little too late? Mag, it sounds like you want to jump in here.
No, I'm totally jumping all over this. You know, I played it when it came out. I put in 100 hours into it. I was playing on the Series X, so I had no issue, right? No issue with it whatsoever, except for there was one time I was parked in front of a building and a hooker walked through my car. That was basically it. Other than that, I didn't really notice anything else that was that substantial in terms of performance problems or even visual problems. But however, that being the case, I have literally no desire to go back to that game until they release some kind of a DLC. And I know that CD Projekt Red releases pretty substantial DLC, right? And you just look at like The Witcher 3 with Blood and Wine and whatever the hell the other one was called. I always forget the name of it. Those two DLCs were like basically like 50 hours. It was like a AAA game in itself, right? So I have a feeling. Now here's the thing. I think that once CD Projekt Red has made their money. Okay, they've made the money. Don't let anybody fool you, tell you otherwise. They made their money. They're doing all right. Okay, because their CEO cocksuckers, by the way, they were all giving each other bonuses. Did you guys hear about that shit? Yeah, they all gave themselves performance bonuses based on Cyberpunk 2077's performance. Can you imagine in the midst of all this horse
suing each other?
Yeah, in the midst of all this horseshit, the fucking the assholes on top were all giving each other performance bonuses. After all that PR problems and everything else, right? Meanwhile, they let the dregs have to sweat it out and deal with it in social media and everything else, right? Absolute horseshit. But you know, it's typical corporate assholes. But anyways, point is that I think that what they should do, which I don't think they will do, but they should do as a goodwill gesture, they should release the DLC for free. And the thing is, I'm not going to go back to it right now, Noof, because there's still the next gen patch is not coming out till next winter. And I'm talking about like 6 months from now.
That's what my question was. I think we saw the roadmap for that. I think it was before that. Did they push that back again?
It was like November. They said fall or winter of 2021. So when they released it, they said the next patch, the next gen patch was coming out a year later. Okay, so we're talking like November, December, somewhere around there. But I'm pretty sure when they do that, they're going up against some pretty stiff competition because we already talked about at the beginning of the show the names of the games that we rhymed off, between basically in 3 weeks from now all the way till December 7th when Dying Light 2 comes out. Who's going to want to go back to this? You're going to have Halo. You're going to have, for some, Call of Duty and Battlefield and everything else, right? Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, maybe Horizon Forbidden West. Who the fuck is Forza Horizon 5? Who's going to go back and play this game? Nobody. But you know what will get attention? Release the next-gen patch. Release the first big, substantial chunk of DLC, and release it for free. That's the only way they got a chance. If they don't, guess what? The game is going to remain uninstalled, okay? And it could go shit in a cloud, which is exactly where it's sitting right now. Like I finished the game and I uninstalled it because I wanted to keep my SSD space, pretty light because I know other games are going to be coming out. And if I know I'm not going back to it, why the fuck would I keep it there, right? So anyways, I'm not going to reinstall it unless that shit's free. And the thing is, the only way it's going to get that attention is because it's going to be, they're going to have to do that. Otherwise, who's going to pay attention anymore? Nobody. Right? So they have to do something drastic in order to get that attention back, especially in that fall season when it's going to be very, very busy. And by the way, I did see what you say, Lady Foxfire. I saw that you said a no chills panel. Yes, we are. And if you stay tuned in about 10, 15 minutes from now, you'll find out all about it. But anyways, that's all I had to say about Cyber.
Lady Foxfire, we go back. She was with me when we were on the console corner. She knows all about no.
I know Lady Foxfire very well. I was listening long before this voice came on the air.
Yes, I would love to get her on our podcast some night if she's willing to do so. So, lady, we'd love to have you here. I know it's a raunchy. Maybe we'll bring in a whole ladies, get her and Primal Eve and Lupa and the whole works. We'll have a ladies' night with the boys.
Sorry, Tony Baloney's slowly leaking out of me now. Anyways, you guys continue. I'll be back in a little bit.
That's the best thing about Titan.
Yeah, go put your bra on.
If you take out the A and N of Titan, you're left with tit. I love it. Oh shit! Console corner. That was a good one.
Noof, I don't know how they're calling this good to go when the next gen update hasn't come out yet. I think let's wait for that to come out and then.
It's weird and it's too bad. I think because a lot of games come out flawed. We see that. And, like a lot of times you hear that saying, you never get a chance to make a second impression. I don't think that's always true for every game because we saw how some games came out, the lukewarm reception, had their fair share of problems or lack of content and went on to be massively popular. Sea of Thieves is one of the first ones that comes to mind. Like a lot of people knew the potential was there, but we can't lie. When Sea of Thieves came out, it was pretty much like after a week, you're like, yeah, man, this game is pretty shallow, not much to do. Look at it now. It's getting story-based content based on Pirates of the Caribbean. They've added a lot to that game ever since. It's one of the most popular play games on Steam and fairly popular on Twitch. Like it's doing well, and I think there's a couple of things helping that. One, it's GamePass. Two, it's a game that sort of as a service. It's evolved over time, and it wasn't broke to the point where it was unplayable or ran like absolute dog shit. It had a few technical glitches, but I mean, for the most part, at least it was playable. And I think that was the problem with Cyberpunk was, this game was too ambitious for its own right. It's like it was supposed to be developed on the regular PS4 and the Xbox One, but then it seemed like somewhere along the line, like they really tried to tailor make this game for high-end hardware, like PC, Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation 5, and it's just, and the versions suffer, and that again, that's one of those things that we see a lot of games when they're trying to do this cross-gen stuff. People always talk about scalability. Some games don't scale very well. That's the thing. You can get it to run, but it's going to end up like a Switch version, right? So, where it's so watered down and so much stuff is missing, you wonder why it's even bothering the fight in the first place. It'd be like having a boxing game where obviously the ring is missing and the gloves are gone. Like it's kind of weird, you know.
All right. Well, New Flip, let me know. I'm going to say something. I want your opinion on it.
Go ahead.
So I personally gave this game like a huge pass. All right, that I probably shouldn't, just because. I wasn't affected by its shortcomings, which, came primarily on the last gen of consoles. I think that's where, 90-something% of all this came from is how it ran on last gen. So would you say I'm wrong in giving it like a pass since it didn't affect me? Or do you look at it as, let's look at it from everyone's perspective? And because the thing is their next game, right? Whatever, we don't know what the next game they're working on is, but we know it's going to be amazing. But we definitely don't want to have this become a repeat performance, because I love the developer myself. I love everything they've done. This one just wasn't, it, like you said, it was very ambitious. And I like the fact that they're so ambitious. I like the fact that they push everything. And, there is a lot cram packed in that city. In these closed, there's all these buildings around you, but there's so much crap going along. It was absolutely impressive. So go ahead, let me know what you think.
Well, I think like for you personally, like you passing the game because it ran well for you or whatever, that's fine. At the end of the day, it's your personal pass. The pass on an overall perspective, maybe not. I mean, for those people who had it and played it on the base platforms, we saw the Digital Foundry videos. We heard the complaints and how it was very, and one of the things you can forgive a few graphical glitches, like a car disappearing or somebody's face, that sort of, so you kind of laugh at it. But when it gets down right almost unplayable, and we're talking about especially frame rate. Frame rate is one of the most jarring things you can have with the game. Like it doesn't, I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather a game be 30 frames steady any day of the week than trying to hit 30 frames and then all of a sudden it's 10 frames, it's 15 frames, it's whatever. And I think the majority of us probably feel that way. We'd all love to strive for 60. We know that technically wasn't really going to be happen, but no, you're not wrong there. I mean, the game still does have a ton of potential. The game has a pretty rich story. There's a lot of missions. It's a CDPR game. It's got a ton of crap to do. Chase Jones in the chat, he loves it. I know Jago Kukin, he played quite a bit of it and really enjoyed it and didn't have as much problems. I mean, I had the benefit of playing it on both sides of the hardware. I played it first on my Series X because I knew it would run better on that, and sure it did. Then I went back and installed it on my One X because I wanted to see how it would run over there. And boy, it was crashing on me. It didn't look as good. I had a lot of issues with it on my Xbox One X, and that's fairly capable hardware. Yeah. So Cerebral Paul's in the chat. He loved it. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's to each their own. I guess it really comes down to what you expected from the game. For some people, it might have been the game that they wanted and that sort of thing. For a lot of people, it was a disappointment. I from a game perspective, I think it's fine. I think it was from a technical perspective, it obviously missed its mark. I just hope that it can rebound. I feel bad for these guys because I don't think any.
So, well, let me ask you that: how does it rebound from this negative publicity, even though it was only on last gen consoles? Like that's the thing. Like I'm trying to put myself in their shoes right now, and whenever you're launching, you got all these platforms to develop for. You're throwing it on everything, and even the kitchen sink. And then you got the, this gen and last gen. I think they should have just dumped the last gen version.
I think what you do here, Titan, is you come in with some kind of a trade-up program. If you can show that you purchased the older game, the older model game, and if you're not satisfied with it and that sort of thing, then I think there should be some sort of program so that when they make, say, the next gen version and it's running really good, hopefully after it's running the way it was meant to be run, then you sort of get, like, again, either that free upgrade or whatever be the case, or perhaps a decent discount in stores and re-promote the game.
All that was kind of done. All that was kind of done already on the PlayStation side. Remember, there was something about refunds and something on the PlayStation.
They did, yeah. They took it down because there were so many people for refunds, so they took it off altogether.
Right. So they do stuff like that. So you're saying, like, should they have expanded upon that?
Well, totally. There's a bunch of different avenues. I mean, the first of all is and the good thing with them is first of all is admitting they made some mistakes. First of all, it's coming out and admitting it, getting that out of the way, and and telling the fans that we care about the vision of our product and we want you to enjoy it, and and then like I said, perhaps re-promote this game. So how to repackage it, let people jump in. Like I said, a big thing for going forward for them, and I think it would be huge, and I'm almost surprised it didn't happen, is remember we all thought it was coming to Game Pass, and it's not. So they need to get this game, at this point in time, this game needs to go to Game Pass, and it needs to go to Game Pass quickly. And perhaps it doesn't even go to Game Pass and cost Microsoft a shitload of money. Microsoft already spent a lot of money promoting this game as part of the Xbox ads back last fall. So that's a big thing. It needs to go to Game Pass. It needs to be like a cheap entry level game at this point. Like they can't charge 60, 70, 80 bucks for it. Anybody that has an older version automatically should be entitled to a new free update.
Well, The Witcher did come to Game Pass, so I know they're willing to talk turkey with Xbox. But someone said in the chat, who is it? Cyberpunk could have been delayed for a year. Fastback. Yep, I'm gonna call that the COVID impact, and I think he's right. I think the COVID impact pretty much across the board affects everyone about a year's worth of time. Like, let's take Halo for example, right? A year ago didn't look anything like it does today, right? So I think that's a good rule of thumb. You know what? If you've been developing a game and it's not up to par, delay it a year. That's almost hands down. We'll just call that the COVID impact rule.
So a lot of this then Titan really is on the board. It's on the people that pushed them, because I'm pretty sure at some point they couldn't have been blind. They had to know that this game was not running well on base hardware in particular, like before they launched it. But somebody pushed a button and said, let's just get this thing out.
Why couldn't they? Well, what about this? Why couldn't they have released it for only next gen systems?
Well, perhaps they should have, but they had too much invested at that point, and I think they were afraid they were going to miss the boat. That by doing only next gen, they would have sold way less.
It would have sold less initially, but they wouldn't have had the bad backlash. And when it released for next gen or last gen, I should say, they wouldn't have had that backlash. It would have sold just as many, right? They would have been even more hyped because the people on the next gen consoles were hyping it up like, man, this game's awesome.
Yep.
There you go. I think that's lesson learned for the industry right there. If anyone's listening to this goddamn podcast.
That's a fantastic point. That is a very good point. We hope that the industry has stood up and taken notice, that they got to know that, the long-term effects are far more like the thing is now, even what CDP Project Red moves forward with from here on out, the question is now, do you trust them on the next one? Are you going to be wary now when they release their next game? Are you going to be kind of going like, is this going to be another Cyberpunk scenario? I'm very doubtful that it would be. I think hopefully they've learned a lesson. If not, then they haven't learned anything. And the whole
hopefully by their next game release, they're not developing for another 2 console generations. Hopefully they get one out during this console generation.
Yeah, Mag, you got anything to add to this before we bring in Tony?
No, that's it. I spoke my piece.
Okay. All righty. So let's move on from this. It is good that, CDP Project Red are at least still investing in the game, still trying to patch it and fix it for those people still interested or hanging on or wanting to go back and play a better version. So you got to give them kudos for that they're not giving up on it and just calling it a day. So good stuff. So yes, as Iceman says in the chat, it is Tony time. All right, it is time to bring in the one, the only, their charismatic alter ego, Tony Baloney.
That's right, Nukem. I'm here and I'm ready to talk. But first, before I take any questions from anybody, I do have a couple things I want to get off my chest. First, Titan Drago, for the love of Christ, wake up. What is it, the first 20 minutes of the show? I got to listen to you sound like you're just dragging your ass out of bed. What are you, 5? Actually, you know what? I take that back. I don't want to even know what it's like to be 5 in your house, apparently, from what I've been hearing about you having sex right outside the door. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You are a disgrace to mankind. You know that? You're a disgrace. Anyhow, besides all that.
I'm keeping mankind going, man.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, going off a cliff. Anyhow. Let me tell you something else, Titan Drago. You were talking earlier about that game Green Hell. Sounds like your fucking bathtub. That's Green Hell. Okay? Oh, my God. And another thing, by the way, you were saying something, Noof Nookum, you were talking about how Game Pass, it needs more tiers. How many more salty PS fanboy tiers do you want? Jesus Christ.
Yes.
My goodness. And one more thing, by the way, Pure Flack Monkey. I saw what you said a little earlier. You say that there's that guy in the chat, Tony Baloney Muscle. You say, oh, that must be Tony Baloney's little guy. Guess what? Guess what? It ain't little. It's the size of a monolith. Okay? Let me tell you something. Got big veins all over it. It's ridiculous. Actually, it's so big, it even has its own rib cage. Unbelievable. Anyways, besides all that, Tony Baloney Muscle, I'd like to talk to you directly, okay? I'm looking right at you right now. Let me tell you something. There's only room for one muscle, and it's Tony Baloney's love muscle, okay? No room for you. So if you're Papa Woody or whoever the hell you are, or what is his name, Dr. Dinglenuts, one of those guys, you got to change your name back. It's unbelievable. And one more thing, by the way, Noof, you were talking about how Titan Drago, if you took the AN off of there, it'd be tit. Well, if you take the O off the other one, it'd be exactly what my wife is going to be in about 25 years. Tit drag. That's right. That's right.
Bravo.
Now that I got that out of my system. Does anybody have any questions?
We do. We got one from your favorite questionnaire, the doctor. He drops $5 in the super chat and says, yo, Tony B, I have a Persian ex-girlfriend that was strong with the force with butt play. Should I introduce her to my current girl? Maybe she can be like Yoda.
Absolutely. You know what? I think it's a good idea. What you should do is you should go out on a date, ask the Persian girl to come out, and then take your girlfriend out and pretend like you didn't even know it was going to happen, and be like, oh, fancy meeting you here. So, and then let her get into conversation, have a few drinks. The next thing you know, they're both licking your ass, and then maybe your girlfriend could be like Luke Skywalker, and then she could be like that Yoda you said in the corner and be like, do or do not. There is no try. Yes, you could do something like that. It'd be fantastic. Good idea, Doctor. I like the idea. Very nice. I also see that Iceman's got a question for me too, and would like to read that out.
Let's get over to it. Iceman, let's see, dropping $4.99 in the super chat. He says, hey Tony, any tips on picking up women at the club or just drug them like Arnold?
Well, yeah. Well, obviously, let me tell you something, Iceman. The only time you have to pick up a girl is when you pick her up after you give her the roofies, right? So when they fall over, you pick them up, you put them on your shoulder and go, oh, she had a little too much. And then you take her home. Anyways, I'm just kidding. That's ridiculous. That's against the law. Don't even do that. Don't even make jokes about it. Iceman, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you something. The only way that you do it, I told you already before, how you pick up a girl in the club. You walk over and you unzip your pants and you show her the goods. Because there's no use in talking. What are you going to talk about? Personality? Nobody fucks a personality. Okay, so then you just show her whatever you got, and then if she slaps you in the face, then you know she's not the one for you. That's the way you do it. Any other questions for Tony before I leave for the evening?
We got one from a good friend of the show. We got one from
Tony, would you speak some sense into Infinite over there? He says people who play Smite shouldn't procreate. Talk some sense into him.
No. He's absolutely right. And Infinite 3T, whatever the fuck your name is. Let me tell you something. Infinite E3 backwards E with a T. Okay, he's absolutely 100% correct. Because we need to bring those numbers down, not up, down. We need to get Smite out. We don't need it to get more popular. You don't need to breed people, because you know what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. Titan Drago is going to be telling his children, hey guys, you should try this shitty game here. It's called Smite, but you're going to love it, just like Dad. Okay, and then all of a sudden it's going to carry on from generation to generation, and the game is never going to die. It's ridiculous. We got to stop it. We got to stop it immediately.
We got a couple more quick ones. This one from Chase Jones. Tony B, if a hooker spits in your mouth during sex, is it assault?
Well, it depends on if she ate a bag of pretzels before, but yeah, okay.
We got one from our good friend, the Wild Gamer, who makes his way back to the chat. What's going on, Wild Gamer? We've missed you. He says, Tony Baloney, I need sex advice, paper or plastic. What the fuck? Is he screwing with the dinette cat or what?
No, I think what he's talking about is what you put over the head. Listen, that's what I'm gathering for the question. Listen, either one works as long as you don't have to hear them. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter, because if they're good looking, you can just gag them. So you don't have to put a ball gag in there. You don't have to listen to them talk. You know what I mean? It's fantastic. That's my only advice for you. But I mean, if you're looking at something that you have to have sex with a bag over your head, maybe you should reevaluate your life situation there. Okay? Reevaluate your life situation. Anyways, any other questions for Tony before I leave for another evening?
I don't know, but I was hoping that Tony Balone and Muscle might have one since he's in the chat. And
I see him in the chat.
Yeah, where's below the muscle? Muscle, you gotta ask a question for Tony, man.
You got a question, man?
I see him making some faces in there, but I don't see him talking.
Assassin Lupa backs your theory up. She says tape over the mouth. That's best. I don't know. Lupa sounds like she got experience.
Fantastic. They don't call her the assassin for no reason.
Plastic stops the breathing. Paper keeps them breathing.
You just put a hole in the middle with a pen. Fine. Don't worry about
it.
I immediately went to a condom, like the wise old gamers. You putting one or the other on a condom, using it as a condom. You would have said use neither then, right, Tony?
Oh, my goodness. Are you crazy? I do have I'm going to take one more question here from Blue Moon FC here. It says, Tony, do you think Italy will win the Euros? Of course they're going to win the Euros. Who else is going to do it? The English? Absolutely ridiculous. You see them win today? Oh, my God. Those British announcers were absolutely ridiculous. Anybody who watches soccer or football, as you guys like to call it, let me tell you something. Anytime England wins, for some reason, it's historic. It was a historic win today in England. In Wimbledon Stadium, it was historic. I go, they fucking won a game. What's the big deal? And then all of a sudden, I'm surprised that at the end of it, they didn't go, and it's unbelievable. England has won the game and they've killed cancer at the same time. It's incredible. Prince Philip is pumping his fists in the air. It is a historic day for England. I'm like, why? Because you guys are so used to losing? Unbelievable. Let me tell you something. Italy's going to win the whole thing, and you're going to get lots of live shots of Tony Baloney all over Little Italy in downtown Toronto when they do win, and it's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Who do I gotta vote? Who's gonna go against them? Who do I gotta root for then?
Who says I'm fighting next week? Maybe
Tony,
I'm gonna take a night off.
I got one quick question for you then. Who chokes worse? The girls on your big old Bologna or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, that's a question for the ages, isn't it? Well, let me tell you something. I was born in 1975, and the Leafs haven't won since 1966. So let me tell you something. Looks like the Leafs have been choking a lot longer than girls have been choking on me. Okay, so we're going to say the Leafs. There's your question. There's your answer.
Why wait? Tampa Bay Lightning, let's go, baby. Woo!
Oh, let's take it easy because I still want to see a Canadian team get in there, okay? Because let me tell you something. Those Montreal girls, whoo, they're something else. So, I'm still going to go for a little bit of Canadiana because I don't even remember the last time. I think it was the Vancouver Canucks was the last time any Canadian team even got to the goddamn finals. All these American teams coming in, they said, it's those Canadians. It is Canadian sport. You guys always win the Stanley Cup. What about us? Once in a while. My God. Yes. Anyways, Tony Baloney has had enough of this nonsense for the evening. So,
Tony Baloney in fine form as always. Tony, thanks again for being here. We'll see you again next week. All right, guys. Well, that is it. That's going to wrap up the show for tonight. We wrap it up at a fantastic note here. Great questions. Sorry we can't get to them all, but that's just the way it rolls. Let's England's going to piss all over Italy because Assassin Lupa says in the chat. Oh shit. But anyway. Let's get out of here. Let's get to the panel again. The chat tonight has been awesome. And just a reminder, if you showed up in tonight's chat, I've been taking down the names, and you will be entered in next week's draw for the 6 months of Game Pass Ultimate, courtesy of Crazy Greek Dude. And Dravenero was nice enough to give us a 2-year Dolby Atmos code as well for one of your headsets. So that's pretty cool as well. So we're gonna have 2 draws live on the show next week. If you're in this chat, don't worry, you will be in the draw. I don't know how many names I can put on the freaking wheel, but I think I have over 70 odd names on my list right now. It's pretty impressive. So, there you go. Long and distinguished, just like my Johnson. All right. All righty. I think that joke came from Top Gun. But anyway, guys, it's been a fantastic show. Our good buddy Yobi Dran, he was in the house earlier too. Yobi, peace, love, life. Good to see you here, man. To everybody that's been here, too many to mention. Dreadpools have been hanging out with us. What's going on? Lethal Terminus, Stu being safe. Like I said, I'll be here all night if I got to name everybody out, but you guys know who you are. Best chat in the business. You come in here, bring the love, bring the respect. All that stuff. You guys, you keep it real, and we love you for it. So we'll see you back here next week. Thanks again for all the super chats, guys. Like I said, hopefully soon as well. We'll do some more big draws a little bit later on in the year. So again, thanks for the love and support. We'll see you next week. Just when you thought it was safe, Noob. Yes, indeed. Timothy Dixon, thanks again, man. He's always here. The doctor, Spider-Man 356, Cerebral Paul, all my crew from Good Morning Xbox. You guys have been hanging out with us. So good to see Lady Foxfire in the house. As always, Philly Eagle, Shizno Elite. Yeah, man, the list goes on. But anyway, let's get to the panel. Let them get out of here for tonight. And we'll start with the middle-aged game guy, my friend. Let people know where they can catch up with what you've got going down.
Yes, well, you can find me, obviously, every Tuesday night here at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Gaming After Dark with Noof Nukem and Titan Drago. Next Monday, I will not be, normally on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick XL and friends. However, this Monday, because it is Canada Day / Independence Day, I will not be on that show because I'm going to be away. Yes, but I will be here at Gaming After Dark on the Tuesday, so not a problem there. You can find me on Twitter at the Middle Age Game Guy. That's with a GY at the end. On the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, you can follow me at all one word, all capitals, because I don't know how to be quiet. I am the Mag. And by the way, for anybody who wants to know, that's 2 G's, by the way, because there's a lot of people looking me up and they're only putting it as a Mag as an M-A-G. There is a guy at the end of that, not just a middle-aged game. It's a guy. So there are 2 G's. But anyways, you can find me there. And I believe not next week, but the week after, you will find me on Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I will be on there with the mighty Brap himself. Right. We will be doing a show there. And other than that, I'm not doing any more guest appearances for the month of July, maybe in August sometime. So got a lot of stuff going on. But anyways, guys, it was a great show. Chat, you guys are amazing. Great topics. I can't wait for next week. Everybody, have a great night.
Yes, and it's always funny because how long have you been a panel member on Boom shows? And he always keeps calling you the middle-aged gamer guy.
Yes, he does. He calls me the gamer guy. Yes, and then you know what? It's all good. Everybody knows. Everybody still knows I'm the Mag, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely, that's all we need to know. And let's get down to the one, the only, the Titan Drago, the man who brings the common back to sense. Who gets your award tonight, Titan? And let people know where they can catch up with you.
Everything at Titan Drago. I'm gonna release another video tonight. If you want to catch one of my parodies, I'll release another one. But you know what? You mentioned it earlier, Noof, and you know what? I want to use my reward, my award this week to kind of back that up, because I think we all need to take offense to less things, right? Just like whole cancel culture and crap, and just like that whole thing just drives me nuts. So Infinite. You know what? He gives and takes jokes with the best of them, and I really appreciate, people that are like that. And, that's why we all need to be a little bit more like Infinite and keep bringing the common back to sense. So congratulations, Infinite. Keep being who you are, buddy. We appreciate it.
Nice. There you go, guys. And just a reminder as well, Canada Day coming up. So to all my Canadian friends, obviously, Meg, happy Canada Day. Comes up or not tomorrow, but the next day, so July 1st. So, we don't do a whole lot special. Maybe there'll actually be a Canada Day where we can celebrate for a change. Last year, everything was kibosh. So, maybe there'll be some fireworks. And if not, maybe you'll have them in the bedroom. I got a feeling Tony Baloney will definitely have this share for sure. And I'm pretty sure the doctor will have some kind of anal arrangement prepared for Canada Day. But you know where to find me, always in the gutter. It's Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom Noof Nukem leaving the room. Don't forget as well, this weekend on the show, we got Good Morning Xbox coming up on Sunday morning with myself, Cerebral Paul, Cool Cat Terry, Eternal Should Die, Axel 1324, who was also in the chat. So it's going to be a great show. Indeed, on this weekend. And again, this weekend, we are going to put all of those. We're going to be doing our draw for the 6-month Game Pass Ultimate courtesy of Crazy Greek Dude. So there'll be 2 draws this week, one on Good Morning Xbox and the next one on Gaming After Dark. Outside of that, guys, you can catch me one more time this week before the weekend, and that is on Friday morning. It looks like I got an invitation to be on Breakfast with Boom. So I look forward to being over there with his crazy panel and talking about all the latest and greatest topics. So it's going to be fun times. Everybody in the chat, again, once before we go, you guys are amazing. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you next week.